What's up, guys? We are back with Week 6 Thursday Night Football action. We are going to do a deep dive on this matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks and see what kind of value we can find on the side and on the total. And we're going to take a good hard look at the player props as well. Also, I'm going to break down both MLB games, Game 4 between Cleveland and Detroit, and Game 4 between the Yankees and the Royals. Wednesday didn't go exactly according to plan, guys. A little bit of a tough one out there, although we did have some wins. We hit on Cleveland versus Detroit. The under in that game was good as gold. We had Cleveland versus Detroit, no run first inning. We're cutting those from the pinned comment, guys. Do not think those are very good value bets. We also had the Phillies, Mets over 7.5. Didn't quite work out there. We saw a pretty low scoring game, but crazy win there by the Mets to eliminate the Phillies there and move on to the next round. So great stuff there for the Mets fans and for us who had the Mets at plus 100. So that was a nice little win there. Unfortunately, guys, the Royals came up just a little bit short, losing that game at 3-2 against the Yankees. So that was a bit rough. We also thought Lugo would have a bit of a better day. Over 4.5 strikeouts was a prop that I liked a little bit, and the guy only had 2 strikeouts in the game. So that was a little bit rough. We did add the Dodgers and the Padres there to the pin comment, the over on that game, but ended up being a push on that one. 8 total runs scored in that game in an 8-0 shutout for the Dodgers. So yeah, not the best day, but we're going to go ahead and jump back into the action here. If you want to win all of your Thursday bets, hit that like button. It's good luck and show support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in here every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Big shout out to channel member Trav for that $34.99 donation. You are the man, not me. Thanks for the support. Hopefully we can find some wins out there for you today. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, NCAA football, UFC, NHL, and MLB, and we have the NBA season tipping off right around the corner. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking today and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into the San Francisco 49ers heading to Seattle in a Thursday night NFC West showdown. 49ers come into this game fresh off of a tough 1-point loss there against the Arizona Cardinals. They pretty much blew that game against the Rams, then got a win against New England, then lost that 1-point game against Arizona last week. So yeah, not the best last 3 weeks here for the 49ers. They've been dealing with plenty of injuries. We're going to do a deep dive on their injury report, guys. Don't worry about that. Last week against the Cardinals, giving up 11 unanswered points, 14 unanswered points there in the second half. Rough stuff there from the 49ers. We saw Purdy get picked off twice in that game, completed only 19 of 35 passes, but did have 244 yards. He was only sacked twice in that game, so really not a situation you would have thought he would have so much trouble against, and really not the best defense going up against him. So kind of expect Purdy to bounce back a little bit. The dude had been playing really, really well going into that Arizona game, so a little bit of an aberration there in terms of a bad night for him, but I think we'll see him bounce back in this one. We saw the running game continue to look good there for San Francisco. I mean, Jordan Mason really stepping into the gap there left by the absence of Christian McCaffrey. 14 carries, 89 yards. He did not find the end zone there, so that's a little bit rough there for the fantasy owners, but still not a terrible night. We did see big things from Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. Those were the two main targets there. I mean, they soaked up 12 targets each, 24 total targets there in the San Francisco passing game. Those are the main guys you got to be keeping track of out there in terms of props, in terms of fantasy stuff, like in terms of DFS even. Those are the guys you want to be targeting here for the San Francisco 49ers in the passing game. It's not like they're going up against that tough of a secondary, so I think we could see some pretty big stuff from them in this game. In terms of the defense for the 49ers, things have not looked amazing. I mean, they did hold Kyler Murray under 200 passing yards and picked him off once, but only a single sack there, and they really struggled against that mobility, guys. Murray ran the ball 7 times for 83 yards and a touchdown. He had a 50-yard run there, so pretty crazy stuff there. The 49ers definitely have to shore things up here on defense. They looked good against the pass, which is a big deal going against the Seattle Seahawks, but man, last week against the run, they really suffered against the Cardinals. So we'll see if they can turn it around a little bit here. Obviously not, the dream scenario that the 49ers were living through last week or even this season. They have had plenty of injury issues, but right now, guys, the offense is finally healthy, except for Christian McCaffrey, obviously still being out. Obviously, that's, he's maybe the most important non-quarterback player that any team could be missing. The offensive line being healthy, clearly a big deal, and with Debo and Kittle being healthy, this offense should be in great shape, although what we've been seeing from Debo Samuel lately has been a bit concerning. So they're probably, hoping to be working him in here, getting him some more touches, getting him some more reps, hoping that he can find some gaps here against maybe not the toughest Seattle defense in terms of the defensive side of the ball here for San Francisco. Jordan Elliott missing from the defensive line is definitely a concern. Ward and Finnegan fouls both likely to be sidelined, making this defense come into this game a little bit banged up, which is not great going against, a team that's shown the, at least potential to be a good offense, but definitely a little bit up in the air still. So yeah, that's generally what we're seeing from the San Francisco 49ers coming into this game. I mean, things have been a little bit up and down for them this season. I mean, the defense hasn't been as good as they're used to, although they're technically still 12th in points allowed, so that's not awful. Right now, guys, they just kind of have to regroup after a rough loss, a rough single point loss there last week against Arizona. So looking at their opponent in this game, the Seattle Seahawks, going to be at home in this one. They've now lost 2 in a row. They lost at Detroit, not a terrible loss there, but then losing at home last week 29-20 against the New York Giants. That is absolutely not a good look right there. I mean, Geno Smith's been good overall, but the defense is really struggling, when they're going against some decent offenses, and giving up 29 points against the Giants last week. Do they even qualify as a decent offense? That's not what I was said in the first couple weeks of the season. So we'll see what we get from them in this one. In that loss against the Giants, guys, we saw Geno Smith get sacked 7 times, but still passed for 284 yards and a touchdown. He did not turn the ball over, which is pretty impressive. We did see DK Metcalf put it on the ground and lose it, so that's a little bit concerning. Can't have the wide receivers fumbling the ball away, but generally speaking, Geno Smith didn't look terrible despite, getting sacked 7 times. He also ran the ball 4 times for 72 yards. He had a 32-yard scamper there, so pretty impressive stuff, but he was the leading rusher for the team by far, guys. Kenneth Walker III did very little, 5 rushes for 19 yards. They targeted him 8 times in the passing game. He got 7 of those targets for 57 yards, but the running game for Seattle right now, not looking too hot. And in terms of the wide receiver situation, we saw Lockett lead the way with 75 receiving yards there against the Giants. Not the greatest defensive team, and 6 targets, caught 4 of them, 75 yards. I mean, I don't know, guys. Maybe just a little bit of reason, creeping in for concern here for this Seattle offense. We saw, DK Metcalf, one of the best freak athletes out there, but 4 catches for 55 yards on 7 targets, and putting the ball on the ground there, a little bit concerning. I definitely don't think they're going to be, moving away from him. He's their most talented player, maybe across the board. I can't think of anybody that would be more talented there than DK Metcalf. So I'm expecting him to have a bit of a bounce back. Definitely a little bit of a rough outing there from him last week. Putting the ball on the turf like that, not something that your team is going to want to see. One of the big concerns here for Seattle is this defense, giving up 2 touchdowns, letting Daniel Jones, complete 23 of 34 passes, 3 sacks, not awful, but getting gashed by the running game, guys. They gave up 18 carries, 129 yards to Tyrone Tracy Jr. there for the Giants. Not something that I had on my bingo card. This Seattle defense, all of a sudden, after looking pretty good in the first couple of weeks, looking pretty bad now. They struggled against a Giants offense that didn't even have Neighbors out there. This is just not a very good defense at the moment. And guys, hopping over to look here at the injury report, we've got more reason for concern. The offense is fully healthy, and this unit's been good this season, able to move the ball with Kenneth Walker III on the ground, generally speaking, but maybe not so much last week. And DK Metcalf, maybe the most insane athlete in the NFL. But yeah, guys, a little bit worrisome. On defense, things are looking bleak for Seattle, with the linebacker core and the secondary each possibly missing a couple of guys. Julian Love is dealing with hamstring issues, so I think he'll probably be out or at least limited for this game. And Woolen has been confirmed out with his ankle injury. So this is not even a very good defense, and they're definitely not going to be at full strength for this game. So a lot of reason to be concerned here for Seattle. I mean, they want to be competing there in the NFC West, but they're currently in first place, don't get me wrong, but This just does not feel like the best team to me. The defense tied for 17th in the NFL. I think those are numbers that could continue to get worse. Not the best running team. We just have a lot of questions right now about the Seahawks. So, guys, diving a little bit deeper into this game, looking at the weather report here for Thursday night, temperatures are reasonable in the upper 50s, and shockingly for a Seattle game, rain seems very unlikely for this one. But we are going to have wind gusts in the mid-teens. I don't think that's really going to affect the passing game a little bit. It could be a bit odd there in, long distance kicking situations. You get a gust of wind on a 55 plus yard field goal or even a 50 plus yard field goal. That is going to have some significant impact. So we'll see how that plays out, but I don't think weather is a major concern in this game. In terms of some trends here, guys, San Francisco, they are 2-3 against the spread this year. They are 3-2 to the over this season. Seattle is 1-3-1 against the spread this year and 4-1 to the over themselves. Is there value on Seattle, or have the 49ers been unlucky this year? McCaffrey being out has made things tough, despite Mason being so good there at times this year. The slight value in this one, guys, appears to be on the 49ers to me. It's usually good to be on the favorites here on these Thursday night football games. Home dogs in the division are usually a good idea, but home teams on Thursday night football, guys, are 37-54 against the spread since 2019. That's not a great look there for Seattle. Teams coming off a straight up loss as a 7+ point favorite are 59% against the spread, so that's something that's a little bit helpful there towards the 49ers. Road teams off of a straight up loss of 7+ as favorites are 63% against the spread, so that's a little bit maybe a little bit of a concern here, guys, but I'm not too worried about that. Everything here to me is pointing towards the San Francisco 49ers to get the win and cover. It's unfortunate this is at 3.5 and not 3, but I'm not too worried about that. I think we're going to see the San Francisco 49ers go on the road, figure this out against a very hobbled Seahawks team that really is going to struggle on defense. So in terms of the side, guys, definitely like the 49ers -3.5. In terms of the over-under here, we've got definite trends towards the over with both teams shading towards the over, and with a number of 49.5, that's a pretty big number. Don't get me wrong, but guys, I think we're going to see plenty of offense in this game. Go ahead and give me the over in this one. I don't love either defense really in this spot. Obviously, I like the 49ers defense. They're healthier, maybe a little bit better here, but I do think Seattle will manage to score, and I do think we're going to see the 49ers put up some offense. Obviously, going against the trend of, wanting to be on unders in primetime games, but like I said, guys, this overplay, just a slight lean. Definitely my favorite, part of this game would be betting on the 49ers to win by more than 3.5. Now, guys, let's go ahead and hop over and look at some player props. First of all, with that trend of thinking that the 49ers are going to have a pretty good time in this game, I like Brock Purdy over 249.5 passing yards at -115. Terrible game for him last week, honestly. Still got to 244 passing yards. Very close there. I think we see him have a much better night against a very banged up Seattle defense. This is probably one of my favorite player props of the night. Moving on to another one that I definitely like, guys, and keep in mind, I'm not a huge player prop expert. Do your research, check on some other guys' videos. There are other people much more experienced in the player prop world than I am, but I do like Ayuk at 70+ receiving yards. You can get that at even odds, and if we're going to have Purdy throwing the ball well, a lot of those balls are going to go there to Brandon Ayuk, and he's been looking very good. Had a good week last week. I think we could see another good week from him in this one. And along the same lines there, guys, I think taking George Kittle at 50+ receiving yards at even odds is also very reasonable. Not going to take him a whole lot of catches to get to 50+ receiving yards, and with a banged up linebacker core and a banged up secondary, Kittle should be able to find tons of holes there in the passing defense, in the secondary there for Seattle, and break off some nice, run after catch and all that kind of stuff. I'm expecting a very good day from him. This seems like another good prop if you're really looking for a prop here. I would like any of these. One that I'm a little bit questionable on here is Deebo Samuel under 4.5 receptions at -125. That just plays into the trend here of, Deebo having a bit of a rough time out there, not getting a ton of targets recently. Maybe he's not fully healthy. That would make a lot of sense to me right now. And yeah, just didn't find a lot of targets last week, didn't catch very many of them. So yeah, yeah, under 4.5 receptions in this spot seems pretty reasonable if you're, looking to fade him and, if you think his struggles are going to continue. On the Seattle side, guys, I think there's going to be plenty of offense in this game. So we're looking at some overs here for the Seahawks as well. Geno Smith over 249.5 passing yards seems pretty good to me at -120. He had 284 passing yards last week despite getting sacked 7 times. I don't really think the 49ers are going to sack him 7 times. And while their secondary is better, getting to 250 passing yards for Geno Smith doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I think that's pretty likely to happen here. I also think Tyler Lockett to have a decent game is pretty likely, guys. 50 plus receiving yards for him at +115. The dude soaks up a ton of targets, and if we're right on our side in this game, Seattle is going to be losing, and they are going to need to be throwing the ball. So that is going to, translate to lots of balls going out there to their 2 primary receivers, one of which soaks up a ton of targets is Tyler Lockett. In terms of DK Metcalf out there, guys, he struggled a little bit last week, put the ball on the turf. I think we're going to see him bounce back a little bit in this one. And like I said, I expect Seattle to be throwing the ball a good amount in this game. So taking DK Metcalf to score a touchdown in this game, you can get that at +140. If you're looking for a touchdown prop, that's one that I definitely think is very, very reasonable. And a prop that is a little bit on the negative side here that I think is very reasonable, guys. Kenneth Walker III under 59.5 rushing yards at +110. Don't think we're going to see a ton of action in the running game there for the Seattle Seahawks, guys. They're going to have to be throwing the ball in this game. That's going to lead to a lot less touches there for Walker III, and he hasn't been very good in his touches that he's gotten recently. Maybe he's not all the way healthy right now. Go ahead and give me the under on his rushing yards. I think this is another very good prop situation. Now, guys, having discussed those props, keep in mind, these props are plays that I'm recommending you take at like 0.25 units or smaller, not huge leans. These are player props. My big leans in these games are on the side where I would recommend going 1, maybe 2 units, or on the over-under where I would recommend going, a half of a unit or 1 full unit. So don't go too nuts on these props. Don't come back saying, oh, your prop plays were terrible. Like I said, guys, not a huge prop expert. So hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasionally free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just go ahead and click that link in the description. It'll take you right over to stumpthespread.com. Also, guys, just to clarify some of the questions we've been getting in the emails and in the comments, I am not the MLB capper for stumpthespread.com. These YouTube picks are obviously free to everyone and are just what I am seeing out there. We have an expert with nearly 15 years of experience that covers MLB and has a very strong algorithm and some very cool tools that he uses to bring our premium members the best picks possible. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new. Now back to the games. Over here on the MLB side, guys, first up, we've got the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. Cleveland has their backs up against the wall here. They are in do or die territory. Absolutely have to get this win or they are going to be eliminated. We don't have a confirmed starter yet for Detroit in this game, so some unknowns, but that situation definitely seems like it translates into a Detroit Tigers, going with a full bullpen start. It's something they found success with in this postseason, so they're going to be running that back. We'll see what they can do. Cleveland, they're going to be handing the ball to Tanner Bybee in this game, who comes into this one probably feeling pretty decent about the situation. I mean, he's 12-8 on the season, a 3.47 ERA, and in his last start, he went up against the Detroit Tigers. It was a 7-0 win there for Cleveland. He went 4-2 third innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 6, walked 1, and other than that, gave up no runs. Looked very, very good in that game. So Cleveland pinning all of their hopes on him. We'll see how that pans out. Whenever Bybee comes out of the game, obviously that Guardians bullpen has been fantastic over the course of the season. Maybe a couple, hiccups here in the playoffs, but overall, guys, that is not a unit that I am too worried about. This is a very, very good Cleveland pitching staff. The problem hasn't been the pitching recently, it's been the hitting. So if they can get some decent work there from the pitching staff in this game, they should definitely put themselves in a position to survive here in the, in the playoffs and give themselves a chance to force a game 5. Cleveland just did a, bullpen start there in their last game and only gave up 3 total runs. That's not a bad situation situation. I mean, I guess it's not a full bullpen start. Cobb, technically not a bullpen guy. He only lasted 3 innings, though. So, yeah, not the best stuff there. We saw a similar situation kind of for Detroit. They basically went with the bullpen start as well. And the bullpen starts, guys, they're becoming more and more of a thing here in the playoffs with a lack of, super high-end, top-tier starting pitching out there this season. So, we'll see what we get from Cleveland. We'll see what, on the mound. We'll see what we get from them at the plate. Gonna be a different situation. We saw Quan go absolutely nuts there in game 3. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough despite him putting up 3 hits because really nobody else out there had a very good day. So yeah, Cleveland over the course of the season, not the best offense. I mean, 14th in runs scored, but 22nd in batting average. Definitely an offense that we have our share of questions about. Not a terrible, not a disaster offense, don't get me wrong, but just not one that I'm super duper high on. And yeah, we'll just have to see what they can do, guys. We're gonna need Jose Ramirez to do better than he did there in Game 3. Obviously, need more of the same from Quan. If those two guys can get going, this is an offense that can definitely find its way onto the board. But find its way onto the board, they're gonna have to do here against the Tigers, who have earned shutouts in Games 2 and 3 of this series. Very impressive stuff. They're gonna be handing the ball in this game, looking like a bullpen situation. And for a bullpen that's been very good here in the playoffs and relatively good there in the regular season, they had some ups and downs there at the beginning of the year, but right now things seem to be pointed in the right direction for this Tigers bullpen. So overall, the pitching situation a little bit up in the air for the Tigers, but I don't think it's a complete disaster. What I do think is they are pretty comfortable with what their pitching situation is going to look like there in Game 5. So we'll see what happens for the Tigers on the mound in this game, but I'm not, not super stoked about the bullpen situation, but I'm not that worried about it. Like I said, they've already found success with that strategy already this postseason. So we'll see what they can do there. We'll also see what they can do at the plate. I mean, scoring 3 runs in each of their last 2 games, a total of 6 runs over 3 games in a playoff series. Not amazing, obviously, but they'll take what they can get there in Game 3, guys. We saw Meadows get a hit there at the top of the order. Just not a ton of crazy stuff out there, but on their 5 hits, they managed to manufacture 3 runs. They were also the beneficiaries of an error, but they also gave up an error. So yeah, not the cleanest game out there, but we did see the Tigers manage to come away with that 3-0 win. Over the course of the season, guys, Detroit has not been the best hitting team. They haven't been the best hitting team in the postseason either. They've taken a little bit of a step up, maybe. Maybe they took a small step up there, late in the season, but this is not a great offense, guys. 29th in the majors in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 300 clip. They're 24th in batting average, batting 234 as a team. Just not a lot of amazing numbers there for this offense. So definitely some concerns there, guys, in terms of the side in this game. Unfortunately, we've got a premium pick on this one over at Stump the Spread, so not going to be able to give away the side on this one, but looking at that over-under of 6.5, looking at the kind of offensive production we've had so far in this series, I definitely think under 6.5 is a very reasonable play in this game. We've got both teams showing trends towards the under. Cleveland 45, 30, and 6 to the under when playing on the road. Detroit 43, 35, and 3 to the under at home. We've only seen 3 runs scored in each of the last 2 games. Game 1 barely got over 6.5 with 7 total runs being scored, and they were all scored by Cleveland. So yeah, I think we're going to see a low scoring game in this one. I don't think that's too crazy out there, guys. Go ahead and give me the under. In terms of some player props for this game, first of all, if you guys are begging for no run first inning spots, I do think this is a game where we could see no runs scored in the first inning, but at minus 165, that is not a price tag that I'm very interested in. In terms of some player props, I like Bybee's strikeout total here. If you take him over 4.5 strikeouts, you can get that at minus 150. So not the most appealing price, but I do think we'll see him find some success here against a Tigers team that he's had a little bit of success, at least in terms of piling up strikeouts, if not in making long starts against. So yeah, I like Bybee's over 4.5 strikeouts in this one. I also like Keith here to get a hit at minus 165. That's a very reasonable price. We did see him get a hit there in his last game. So yeah, the Tigers offense, maybe not, in an amazing spot, but I do think we'll see Keith get on the board here with a hit. I also think Veerling's going to get a hit in this game. He's been swinging the bat relatively well. He did go 0 for 3 there in Game 3, so he's a little bit due, and him to get a hit, not the worst price out there. I think we could see him find some success. In terms of finding success, guys, switching over here to the Guardians, I do think Naylor in this game to get a hit. He went 1 for 4 there in Game 3, and I think he'll be seeing the ball relatively well. Got to be getting some familiarity here with the Tigers bullpen. I think him to get a hit in this game is extremely reasonable. And Following that up, guys, you could take a more aggressive route here, but I do love the way that Kwon is swinging the bat right now. Taking him to get a hit in this game seems like pretty much a lock, and it's a very expensive price, don't get me wrong. So if you wanted to take a look at over 1.5 total bases or, anything like that, you could definitely get me interested there. But I also like Jose Ramirez in this game to have a bit of a bounce back after going 0 for 3 there with a walk in game 3 of this series. I think he could get an RBI in this game. I'm expecting good stuff from Kwon. So Ramirez, Kwon setting the plate here for Ramirez. Ramirez to get an RBI in this game is at plus 175. A bit of a long shot, obviously, guys. Getting RBIs can be a little bit situational, but I do think Jose Ramirez is in a good spot to get an RBI in this game. That's all we've got for Cleveland against Detroit, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over and look at the New York Yankees, who are going on the road to take on the Kansas City Royals. The Yankees now have a chance to end this series after going up 2-1 there yesterday. We saw a very close game, but hey, the Yankees come away with that win, so they will certainly take it, winning that one 3-2. Tough spot there for the Royals. They're at least at home here, so they've got a chance that Stanton go-ahead home run in the 8th had to be an absolute heartbreaker for the Royals and for their fans. We didn't see them have their best game. I mean, 6 hits, only getting 2 runs. A little bit rough. We did see some good stuff from a few different guys. We didn't see the best start there from Lugo. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Giving up 2 runs over 5 innings against the Yankees should put you in a pretty good spot. But yeah, that home run there late in the game, that was a heartbreaker. So we'll see what they can do trying to bounce back here. We'll see what the Yankees can do trying to close out that series. The Yankees come into this game handing the ball to Garrett Cole, who's 8-5 on the season with a 3.41 ERA, but we have to be a little bit concerned here because his last start, guys, was against the Royals, and it was, back on the 5th. He didn't have an amazing time. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them were earned. He gave up a home run in that game. He struck out 4, walked 2, just not his A-plus level stuff, and the Yankees need him to be an A-plus level hitter, especially if they win this series. Things are only going to get tougher for them. So we'll see what Cole can do out there on the mound. Obviously, not the best history here against the Royals, so a bit concerned there. Don't get me wrong at all. In terms of the Yankees bullpen, they've been good this postseason, no doubt about that. This Yankees bullpen was good all season long, so not too worried about the bullpen situation here. Although, they didn't have the best time against the Royals back on the 5th either, so definitely not a situation that I'm absolutely in love with here for the Yankees in terms of their, entire pitching staff situation. We'll see what they can do, see if they can continue to hold down these Royals hitters who have struggled a bit in this series, but at some point you have to think they're going to have a breakout game, and given the history here, it seems like it possibly could be game 4 here with, the Royals have their backs up against the wall. The Yankees hitters looked pretty okay there, I would say, in game 3. I mean, we did see Torres struggle there at the top of the lineup. We saw that home run from Stanton. He had a heck of a night, 3 of 5 out there. Very, very good stuff from him. The bottom of the order didn't look great. We saw Soto get a hit. We saw Soto score a run, not get a hit. That sacrifice fly there, congratulations to Soto. He's a dangerous hitter. Don't get me wrong. We saw Judge go over, which isn't something you're going to see all the time. So yeah, definitely room for improvement there for the Yankees at the plate after what they did there in game 3. In terms of the Royals in this game, guys, Kansas City obviously has to be in desperation mode now. They couldn't get the job done last night. A bit rough out there. I'm not going to say they wasted a good start from Lugo, but they didn't do their best, I wouldn't say. And having an error in that game, not the most amazing look. 6 hits, only 2 runs. Got to bunch those hits a little bit better. The Royals are going to be handing the ball in this game to Michael Wacha, who finished the year 13-8 overall with a 3.35 ERA. His last start, guys, was in this same matchup going against Cole against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium that time, not at home at Kauffman Stadium like he'll be for this one. At Yankee Stadium, guys, he went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits and 3 earned runs, including a home run. He walked 3 and struck out 3. Clearly not Wacha's A-plus stuff. The dude has been very, very good at different points this season. He's a stud out there. He's not quite the young guy that he used to be back when he was pitching for the Cardinals, but I'm expecting a much improved performance from Michael Wacha in this game over what he did in game the last time he pitched back on the 5th. So we'll see what we get from Wacha in this one. I'm expecting a little bit of a step up in terms of their bullpen. The Royals have been much better than I would have expected, honestly, in this postseason. I know they gave up that home run to Stanton, but you're going to give up a little bit here to this Yankees absolutely loaded and super expensive lineup. We'll see what they can do in this one, but I'm expecting relatively good stuff once again from this Royals bullpen, especially in a situation where they absolutely have their backs against the wall. So the pitching situation here for the Royals honestly feels maybe a little bit better better than the pitching situation for the Yankees. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but I don't think it's too crazy. In terms of the offense, we saw the Royals, kind of continue to struggle in the series. We haven't seen a big offensive outburst. Massey had a hit there at the top of the order. We did see Bobby Witt Jr. kind of turn things around, getting a hit of his own. Yeah, not a lot of big power numbers from the Royals in this game, obviously scoring only 2 runs. So definitely some work there to do. I mean, there was a double in the game there and a triple. So yeah, we got to bunch the hits together a little bit more for the Royals to find success here. And I do think they're capable of that, especially going up against a pitcher they've had some success against this season. And the Royals have shown the ability to get as hot as any team in the MLB at the plate. So maybe this is the spot where they make that happen. But guys, looking at the trends for this one, the Yankees, a very good road team, an MLB best road record during the regular season. The Royals, 45-36 at home, not a bad home team either. We've got the Yankees at -150, the Royals at +132. We've got an over-under of 7.5 in this one. Guys, in terms of the side, I'm leaning towards the Kansas City Royals. I don't think that's too big of a shock. At +132, going up against Cole, a guy that struggled, and this is an elimination situation here for the Royals. I think they find a way to win this game. And at +132, that's a very, very good price. In terms of the over-under here, I don't have a huge lean on that one, guys. We've got mixed trends here towards the over-under. I do expect one team to look a little bit better than the other out there on the mound, so maybe we want to go with the under, but I also could, I could hear all kinds of stuff that would make, both pitchers struggled the last time they faced this opponent, so you could talk me into an overplay as well. I think, me personally, I'm going to go with the under, but this is not, that underplay not going in the pinned comment. In terms of some player props for this game, guys, I think this would be a yes run first inning spot. You can get that at even odds, and that's mostly based on both pitchers having struggled against their opponent the last time they faced them. We'll see if that comes through, but like I said, not interested in this no run or yes run first inning spots anymore. In terms of a pitcher prop that I like for this game, I like Garrett Cole to struggle a little bit. Under 4.5 strikeouts is +120 for him. I don't think he's a lock to go super deep into this game. I don't think he's a lock to put up a bunch of strikeouts against a Royals team that seems like they see the ball pretty well out of his hand and are swinging the bats a bit better. So that might be my favorite prop in this game. We'll see if it ends up in the pin comment though, guys. Like I said, these props are not huge plays. I may even put unit amounts in the pin comment for the first time ever, just so I don't get people all hyped up about these props, whether they hit or not. And speaking of hit or not, I do think Bobby Witt Jr. to get a hit is an excellent spot in this game. Seems like he's figuring stuff out up there at the plate. You could also take him to get an RBI or maybe even to get a home run. He seems like he's kind of due for that. I wouldn't think any of that was too crazy there for Bobby Witt Jr. I also think Perez here to get a hit is very, very live. He's looked good up there at the plate doing his thing. Salvador Perez, an absolute monster. Love to see him do well. So him to get a hit makes sense to me as well in this game. I also like Massey coming off of that triple. Very good stuff there. And at the top of the order, he's going to get tons of chances. So taking him to get a hit in this game rounds things out for us on the Royals side there. In terms of some props for the Yankees, I don't think they're going to get completely stifled here. That would be crazy talk. I think Soto to get a hit, or you could take him over 1.5 bases in this game, would make some sense. He didn't have a hit yesterday and still managed to be a little bit productive, so for him to bounce back and get on the board with a hit in this game, it makes a ton of sense to me. Stan to continue to see the ball extremely well and get a hit in this game, or you could even take him to hit a home run if you think he could run it back and hit home runs in back-to-back games here, would make a lot of sense to me as well. The dude is clearly swinging the bat great at the moment. And in terms of somebody that is in for a bounce back performance, guys, I think Torres at the top of the lineup there for the Yankees, after going 0 for 4 yesterday, his team escapes with the win. I think he finds a way to be much more productive in this one and get a hit at least. I don't think we're going to see him go 0 for 4, even though I am expecting pretty good stuff from Michael Wacha. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.